Here's Tanner Howe ahead for Bedard, breakaway. He's all alone. Bedard to the net. Backhander scores! That's what the fans came to see here in Red Deer. Bedard, cross to the left circle, back in front of the net. One-timer scores! Alexander Suzdalev from Susie's office. What a pass by Connor Bedard, and Suzdalev tees it up. That was magical. Bedard gets it back, bottom of the right circle. A shot, he scores! What a beauty by Connor Bedard! And the fans are going bananas here in Calgary. Connor Bedard towards the net in the shootout. Scores! Pats up 1-0 in the shootout. Fiddler Schultz with speed. Stopped by Sim. Pats win in a shootout. Pats win in a shootout. They take down the Hitmen in Calgary. Picked up below the goal line. Suzdalev in front. They score. What a pass to Samaremba. A behind the back pass by Alexander Suzdalev to Samaremba. Whitehead takes the face off in the right circle to himself. Centered in front. Scores. Alexander Suzdalev backdoor. Great face-off win by Braxton Whitehead to himself, and he moves it over to Suzdalev undetected right at the crease. He snaps home his 27th of the year. In around the boards, Query, now left point, Rowan. He'll shoot, deflected, stop, rebound, scores! Zach Stringer in his hometown comes back from injury right on the doorstep in his office. That's where he likes to play, and you can see the emotion from Stringer right in front. Joe Arnson behind the Lethbridge net. The veteran defenseman gets it through center, and a big hit at center ice. Vaughn just took out Zimmer, and here we go. What a hit at center ice by Corbin Vaughn, who absolutely leveled Tyson Zimmer.
Welcome to Pat's Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. This is episode 128 for February 5th, 2023. All right, Kevin. That was a busy road trip. All in all, a decent road trip. 5 points total out of 8. We kind of talked about it. We were looking for about a 500 record. Maybe 3 wins would have been really nice. But obviously coming off a loss in Medicine Hat the last game is always leaves a bad taste in your mouth, like it did last episode. You know, we recorded after Medicine Hat loss that the Pats blew a big lead, and you know, looking at the standings, you know, you really needed the Calgary win. You really wanted a Medicine Hat win as well. But just quick thought on the whole road trip from your point of view.
I agree. 5 points. 5 points out of 8. That's good. It would have been nice to get a couple more, but to be able to come back and pick up 2 wins when trailing going into the third, fantastic. Because usually it's a nail in the coffin kind of situation. So
yeah, that's a great point.
It was nice. It was nice to get the wins. It's kind of sucky to end the trip the way it did, but hey, 5 points out of 8. Not bad.
Yeah, so we'll get into it here. I mean, you know, Red Deer first game, you know, that's probably going to be the toughest game, you think, of the road trip. At least it's the first one on the docket. You're fresh. I mean, you got the bus legs a little bit, but you got some fresh legs-ish. And, you know, it was a terrible start. Like, right out of the gate, you're just like, first shot on goal, they score. Pine makes a great, amazing stick save. And then the old shoot the puck in off the other team and in your own net. So it's 2-0. What, 2.5 minutes into the game? Like, it was a rough beginning.
I was thinking it. Not again. Just seems to be the Pats' luck getting down and just not able to come back at all.
Yeah, right. I mean, then they get a power play goal from Borevalis, but then they give up a goal not soon after that. Bedard scores. Nice breakaway goal. He's back to his deke move. That's been money for him. And then, you know, we get into the second period, and Suzdalev scores early in that power play, and it's a tie game. And then you're thinking, okay, here we go. They've got some mojo. It's always, like, for the last, 2 or 3 years, it seems the games with Red Deer have been close no matter what. Like, it's been 1 or 2, or like with an empty net goal. And they've just been hard fought battles, and they've been good games. Like this
They're
was
fun. They're fun
yeah,
games.
right.
Lots of hits, lots of contact, lots of shots. Well, in most cases, lots of shots, but it's usually more of a exciting game.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought like you said, it was a good game. It was exciting. They head into the third, with the lead, but of course Ben King. I mean, he's a goal scoring machine. It seems he's going to really anchor them down the stretch here with him coming back from injury. He scored, and then from there, and I think it was just the Pats hanging on to get to overtime.
They were hanging on for dear life at the end there.
That's for sure. I mean, and they made it to overtime. It's like, okay, now you just go for the bonus point. You got a point off Red Deer. That's nice. So technically, this comes down as a loss after leading after the second period.
Second period.
Can't lead after the third period and lose.
Exactly.
But I mean, both teams had chances in the overtime, but Red Deer ends up getting the goal. But so I mean, it's tough, having a chance overtime. You're like, oh, so close to get that second point, but it just didn't happen.
It was nice to see a big crowd in Red Deer. They had 7,287, which I believe someone tweeted out was their all-time attendance record for a regular season game.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Which is pretty wild.
I looked it up. They had some 73 into the 73 range for the Memorial Cup. Yeah. I just went there. I figured that'd be their biggest crowd. So I don't know what the record is total, but they had over 73 for the Memorial Cup.
But regular season, 7,287 for a game that really doesn't have any meaning for them.
Yeah, totally.
That's pretty wild for the Bedard show.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about this before we came on. Like, there was cheering for the Pats and them scoring. Like, when Bedard scored that breakaway goal, there was audible cheering from the crowd.
Yeah, for sure. You could really hear it with Dante's feed on CKRM, on the CKRM feed. You could really hear it. It's unbelievable. Like, it's not like a handful of people. It was quite a few people, like a bunch of people.
Yeah,
it was neat.
Yeah, I mean, people obviously are there to see him. Like, if they were there to see the Rebels, obviously not the whole crowd is there to see the Rebels. They're there to see the Pats and Bedard.
The traveling Bedards. Exactly. Or the Bedard show.
Yeah. So I mean, so you get a point off Red Deer, and then you go into Calgary the next night. Calgary, another team that you're battling with, right? And it's critical. You're like, okay, you need this win, preferably in regulation. And then speaking of attendance, we'll get right into that. Over 17,000.
17,223. That's unbelievable. So, that beat their Teddy Bear Toss game for this year, and that's usually their highest attendance.
Yeah. So, and I think about 14,000 that were there to see Bedard and the Pats.
Probably pretty close to that.
Right? Like, there was 3,000 people at the last game in the Saddle Dome with the Pats. It's not like they were at Seven Chiefs where they were limited to like 3,000. They were at the Saddle Dome with 3,000. So 14,000 people showed up, and it sounded. There was tons of cheers. Sim made the final save in the shootout. There was cheers.
Like, there was cheers. Winning. You
could hear it.
Audible cheers. It was nice. It's wild.
Yeah, if you listen to the CKRM feed and not the TSN feed, it was much bigger. And I put the goal clips in. You'd hear them and the Sim save at the start of the show there, and you can hear the cheers. I made sure to put that in because I was just like, yeah, that's crazy.
So, yeah, I don't know if a TSN, the way they have their mic set up, that it kind of muffles the crowd or not, but
they don't have a crowd mic or whatever.
Yeah, it was loud. Like, it was audible. It was loud. When Bedard scored the shootout goal and then Sim made that save, there was cheers. It was it was cool.
Yeah, definitely. As for the game, I think Sim didn't even get a star in this game, but he got the CHL second star of the night, like the whole CHL wide. So somebody at the CHL office was paying attention, and whoever picked the stars in Calgary wasn't paying attention because Sim deserved a star. He stood on his head for the first two periods. I mean, yes, his stats don't look good. Like, he gave up 5 goals.
He still faced 49 shots though. Like, that's
49 shots. Yeah,
That's
I mean, the third,
that's almost 900 right there.
yeah, no, that's true, right? That's 1 per 10, right? But I mean, the third period was kind of ugly a bit, but I mean, but he stood on the head. Like the Pats had no business winning this game. I think the way they played through the first 2 periods.
Especially after the first 2 periods, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, the
Well,
game.
20-9 shots in the first period for Calgary. Like,
Yeah,
had
bounced
said
back. It was
yeah.
19-16 in the second, and then 9 for Calgary and 10 for Regina in the third. But yeah, I mean, they seem to somehow flip the switch. But I mean, it was, and they still gave up chances in that third. They gave up goals in that third, whereas they didn't give up the goals per se. You know, I mean, they gave up 3 in the first 2 periods, and then they gave up another 2 in the third. But yeah,
But it was another come from behind win
Yeah.
when trailing after 2.
yeah,
So there is something. There's something there. Once they get a little more healthy, once Spencer gets back in the lineup, and Janelle gets back in the lineup, hopefully it'll carry over, and those guys can help ensure the actual wins and stuff late in the games.
yeah. I mean, there was, a guy like Whitehead stepping up and scoring 2 goals. The one goal he scored, a great pass by Suzdalev. Like, we're going to be talking about him even more here. He's been real hot, but he finds Whitehead trailing, and it was like a 3-on-2, I think it was, and just a great play there for him to set up Whitehead on that goal. And then I guess the other kind of story of the game was the allowed goals, goal reviews, like
The 2 goal reviews, the 2
Yeah.
main ones that were both goals that we couldn't tell for sure on TSN's broadcast.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously it's an NHL building. There must have been some much higher quality video and angles that in-house can see that they did not show on TSN, because both goals, first the Calgary one was like, there's no way that went in the net, and I still haven't seen anything of that one going in the net, but it did, apparently. And then so we're like, everybody's all jaded, right? And they're like, screw this, right? Like, everybody's mad. And then all of a sudden the Pats get one back at the end of the game. We're like, there's no way that puck went in the net. I didn't see it go in the net. Everybody's like, and all of a sudden they reviewed it and it's a goal, and everybody's like, what? That was a goal? But there was a little grainy clip that came out on Twitter, and I retweeted it, and you can see him pulling the puck out of the net. I don't see it going in the net, but you can clearly see him pulling out of the net. And obviously that's like a screenshot of a Twitter video to begin with. So the quality is terrible, but obviously the in-house video quality is going to be way better.
They definitely saw something we couldn't see.
Exactly, right? So, but on that goal, I don't know how Bedard didn't score initially. Like, he had the puck in the slot, and he takes one stride to the right. He's literally got the whole net wide open, and he slides it into the goalie instead of just, because the goalie's laying on the ice. So he had 3/4 of the net right wide open, and he didn't score, and he banged his stick about 5 times on the ice. I don't know how he didn't break it. And all of a sudden, somehow Whitehead jammed it in, and I don't know, but
Somehow the puck ended up in the net.
Yeah, so we'll take it.
Along with their defenseman and part of the goalie, and
Yeah.
it was wild.
Yeah, so I mean, then the Pats get the power play in overtime. Couldn't get it there. They go the shootout, and yeah, of course Bedard scores, and that's it, and make the save and pull out the 2 points in Calgary. Like that's a huge win. I mean, Calgary's been reeling as of late, so it was nice to pick up 1 extra point on them there.
For sure.
Then you're going into Lethbridge on a Friday night, so you get a day off, head into Lethbridge. Lethbridge had been hot as well. I said to you before the game, this is going to be a real tough one. I mean, it wasn't a pretty game. It was kind of, I don't know if the intensity wasn't there or not, but I don't know. What do you think of it?
It was a complete opposite game compared to the Calgary game. Lots of tight checks, like no big hits or anything like that, but it seemed like they were there to shut the Pats down.
Yeah, they were just
shut them down, shut Bedard, and shut those guys down. Shut Bedard, shut those guys down, keep it close, and then maybe for them try to pull out the W. And they did shut Bedard down, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, it's almost like they were playing a road game against the better team, like Lethbridge was. Like they were just there to like, okay, we're just gonna try to play defensively, um, like you said, just shut Bedard down as if they were the underdog, right? Like we don't have the skill to compete with this team, so we're just gonna play defensive as much as we can, even though we are quote unquote a better team, right? Because clearly they are better than Regina. They don't have the top end skill Regina does, but they have a overall better team, right?
And they have a shutdown pair that every time Bedard was on the ice, they were on the ice. Arnson and Pauls, they were on the ice whenever Bedard touched the ice.
Yeah, that's the advantage you have being at home, right?
Yeah. And they did a really good job, which, yeah, it ended Bedard's streak. Goal streak was finished, and his 35-game point streak was finished. But
they got the win.
Got the win. Hometown boy Zach Stringer was the hero.
Yeah, a nice greasy goal in front, just a rebound. He just banged it home, 5-hole. Nice to see. He was pumped. Like he was real pumped about that one.
Oh yeah. Scored home.
The first goal. Okay,
after missing a few games with the upper body injury, with wearing a bubble.
Yeah, wearing the old fishbowl.
Had the fishbowl on.
How about that first goal? The Suslov pass to Remba. Oh,
it's pretty, very, very pretty.
Wow, that was real nice. You mentioned not a lot of big hits. There was one big hit. Corbin Vaughn, center ice.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one and a clean one and no suspension. It was just like, oh, yes, not that I expected a suspension or anything, but I was just like, yes, that's a nice clean hit. There shouldn't be a suspension. I was a little worried at the back of my mind, but because you never know. But yeah, man, that was a great hit. Yeah. And then of course he had to fight. But
had the guy ducked into it, I think there might have been trouble. But luckily for Corbin, he didn't duck into the hit. The player he hit, I can't remember who it was now, but yeah, that was a nice check.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. Suslov and Whitehead both got stars, first and third in Calgary and in Lethbridge. So, I mean, Suslov, he had a 9-game point streak going, heading into Medicine Hat. So, and he had jumped up to 5th in league scoring after the Lethbridge game. I don't know where he's at after Sunday here. I mean, there's still games going on right now, but I mean, he's just quietly just putting together 2 3-point games, right? Like
as of recording right now, he's 9th.
Okay, he's dropped down.
64 points at 9th. Yeah. It's tight after Bedard.
Yeah, right. It's just everybody and then Bedard, right?
There's like 66, 66, 66, 65, 65, Suslov 64, 63, 62, 60, 60, 58, 58, 58, 58. So, yeah, you have like a 3 or 4 point game and you move up like 6 positions. So,
right. Yeah. So, obviously Suslov was held off the score sheet Sunday in Medicine Hat. So that bumped him down, but top 10, obviously that's not bad at all. And it seems like, so I didn't see this Medicine Hat game, but it seemed like, I don't know what happened in this one, but Suslov, Remba, Whitehead, that was kind of a line, Calgary and into Lethbridge. I don't know what happened on Sunday with them, but
the whole team, the team played pretty well overall. It's just that they could, once they got the lead, Bedard scored, got his new streak started very early, like right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Medicine Hat replied like just over 3 minutes later, and then just kind of, I don't know, the Pats just couldn't keep up. I don't know. I don't really know how to really describe it, but once Parsons scored the Tigers' third goal, the long distance shot that I hope, well, I'm not hope, I'm sure Sim would want back, because it wasn't, I wouldn't call it weak, but it was a long distance shot. Maybe the defenseman got a stick in the way and changed the angle of it, but you could tell like the Pats just didn't have it. It was the last game of the trip. They looked like they were there. I don't know if flat would be the right word, but every time the Pat player touched the puck, there was a tiger on him. There was a tiger on him every single play. It's pretty wild. It's very similar to to the previous Sunday game or the previous home game where like no matter what, a Pat would touch the puck, there's a guy on him, no matter what, every shift, no matter what. But Sim played well again. Didn't face a ton of shots, but he made some great saves. Beckett Lankow, Medicine Hat's goalie, made a couple unbelievable saves too. Lots of puck luck too in this game. Twice the Pats had the puck almost on the goal line, and their defenseman or a player knocked it out of the way, or their goalie just happened to get a pad on it or a stick on it or whatever. But yeah,
I was listening. I kind of caught a bit of this on the radio. It sounded like Bedard had an open net and hit like Vallis's leg and stuff like that. Just some bad bounces. And yeah, I heard some of the saves. It sounded like there was saves both ways, like you said. So that was it is what it is. Yeah, like you said, at the end of the road trip, maybe they're getting it's with the game on Sunday at home here. It was 5 games in 8 days. I mean, it's not the best, but I mean, it is what it is. It's junior hockey. You get those stretches. They had
this is 4 and 6, so
4 and 6, yeah, right, total on the road, and I mean some hard fought battles, right? Like that Red Deer game was chippy, tough, right off the bat.
The first 3 games,
yeah,
all the games were tough. They were all fairly hard hitting. There were lots of hard work,
close games, right? Like they're all close games. So, that takes a lot out of you. And the closer the game, the more your top end guys are going to play. You can't roll 4 lines as much, right? In a game like tonight here, Sunday, once they get that short, the penalty shot, shorthand goal. Like I saw that clip, the penalty on Whitehead. That's a tough call. Like to give him a penalty shot there. I don't know. Like it looked like Whitehead had swept the puck off his stick, and
then they crashed. That's what it looked like. It looked like he got the puck and then they crashed.
And then the guy tried to like get out of the way of the net, and he kind of fell down and crashed into the net. I mean, it didn't look like Whitehead tripped him at all.
No.
Like they didn't even call a penalty. He just pointed at center ice, so he didn't make like a tripping or like what was the actual infraction. So I don't know.
The penalty shot, lots of referees just point to center ice. That's the penalty shot.
I mean, he
was
knocked the puck
emphatic
off his
too.
stick. I know, right? There was no hesitation.
Just point.
And it's not like he took away a scoring chance. Like he didn't trip him. He didn't slash the stick out of his hands, right? Like it was kind of confusing, and Brad Haroff declined to comment, after the game.
He didn't want to get fined, so he decided not to comment on the officiating at all.
So that comment right there tells you what he thinks of the call. So, or the officiating, or whatever however Dante phrased the question. I missed it, but I heard his response. So
there was a lot of stuff that was, they left it. I don't know. Like it's a very playoff type officiating, and a couple odd calls, a couple non-calls, well, quite a few non-calls both ways. It was it was not a very well officiated game in my opinion, even though, hey, Pat's lost. Yeah. Okay. Homer, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Both teams had 3 power plays, but it was not a very well officiated game. There was lots of cross checks both ways. Like Stringer got hit high. Probably should have been a penalty, but whatever. Hey,
yeah.
Them's the breaks.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Medicine Hat was the better team today by enough to win by 5-1 score.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So there we go. I mean, it's tough. You really needed that win. Looking at the standings now, you see that Medicine Hat's they're rolling. Like they're 7-1-2 in their last 10. I mean, the Pats 6-3-1, so they're right there. But Medicine Hat's creeping up. They're 1 point behind the Pats now. But that's 4 points they've given away to Medicine Hat. Not given away. They gave away 2. They didn't, like you said, they probably didn't. They shouldn't have. They had no chance of earning 2 points tonight. But they gave away that Sunday game at home.
That one could come back to bite them.
Yeah, right. So you look at the standings. Calgary's just 2 points up on the Pats. They're in a free fall. They're 1-6-2-1 in their last 10. Like that's 5 points in the last 10 games. So I mean, you beat them. Say you had those 2 points. I mean, I don't even want to say what if, but I mean, you're right there with Calgary. Then 53 points, and then you're, say you still lose this Medicine Hat game in Medicine Hat. They're at 48 instead of 50, so you're 5 points up on them instead of 1, right? The those 4-point games as they call it, right? So
Yeah.
you can't expect to win them all. Like you said, Sunday this game on the road was not, they weren't going to win that one, but to give away that one at home with that lead, that one's real tough. Then you look at Lethbridge.
But it was nice that Moose Jaw gave the Pats a favor, beating Calgary today.
Yeah, for
Saskatoon did a little bit of a favor, beating Brandon today.
Yeah,
all these little favors. Just the Pats need to do their own job and get the wins to secure themselves and not depend on everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
They had like last year.
Like beating Lethbridge, that was huge because Lethbridge is
huge.
only 8 points up on the Pats. I mean, I think that's as high as you can legitimately expect them to finish is 5th.
Yeah, I don't see the Pats, even if they did go on a big streak, go to 4th.
No, but Lethbridge is right there. They're only 8 points up. It is what it is. The team's got a good record against the Central, right? Like, was it 11-6, 1-2, 2-1?
Yeah,
something like that. So
11-6, 2-1,
2-1. So they've done real well in the Central Division. They
just got to pull up their stocks against the East.
Yeah, I mean, they got Medicine Hat 2 more times here within the next couple weeks, so those obviously going to be tough games. You've lost 2 already in Medicine Hat. But
this time off is going to get them maybe a little more healthy. Maybe Bateman he missed that one game because of the injury. He came back today, and hopefully he can get healthy.
Was he playing Sfozo? Was he playing top minutes tonight, or was
not?
He...
He's kind of all over the place. I think it was Berg played a lot today for sure.
Yeah, he filled in.
Yeah, he's been elevated.
Yeah.
Dante mentioned that Spencer should be back for the Moose Jaw game.
Yeah, like we said, he was down to 1 week last.
Yeah, so hopefully he's back. That'll give him a little more depth forward.
Yeah,
a little more offensive minded type guy, I guess.
He had that ankle sprain, so that's I don't know how much has he been skating. Like, is he 100% yet? Obviously, you're never going to be 100% getting back in the lineup because you want to get in as soon as you can. It's not like he's coming in and he's not ready to go, but he's not going to be up to game speed yet, right? So maybe he'll play limited minutes in Moose Jaw if he does, kind of thing. Berg,
it'd be nice to get him in the lineup no matter what, though, just to give them a little more, like I said, more of an offensive type guy.
Yeah.
No offense to the 4th line guys. Like, this guy's got more of an offensive instincts, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the real
No, that's a good word. But going back, Berg, him stepping into the top pairing with Sfozo, I thought he played real well in Lethbridge.
Yeah, he's stepped it up the last couple of games, and he's played really well.
Yeah, I've liked his game. I mean, it's not flashy. He's not obviously not a Sfozo type player, but man, he's just solid, just a solid defender. Not defensive defenseman. Like, you seen him score a hat trick in the preseason, so he does have some offensive touch, but he's played well. I've really
he's more known as the defensive type.
So I mean, it's tight. Obviously, it's playoff. You're getting down to nitty gritty here. There's only you're at most of the teams are at 50 or just below 50 games. So you're only looking 18 to 20 more games in the season. It's getting tight, right? Especially this bottom half, like 5 to 10, even 5 to 11 PAs. They're hanging around, but it's going to be tight. I think, like you said, the top 4 or the top 4, whatever position they finish in, it is what it is. But like, I think Red Deer's locked into that 2 hole, and then it's Winnipeg, Saskatoon, Moose Jaw, the other 3. Like, Winnipeg, I think, is going to finish first pretty handily, and then Saskatoon, Moose Jaw is kind of like the only other kind of battle
for 3-4.
Yeah, that's
what I think so too. I don't know. I don't know if Lethbridge, even if they do turn it around, I don't know if they could. They could, I guess. Anything's possible, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, but like you said, it is possible, but is it? See what happens. Yeah. So I guess other news and notes. Bedard, Player of the Month again. I mean, he's won it every month he's played.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, you can hear the surprise in our voice.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. So I mean, I said to you, is he going to win it every month? He's like, well, he didn't win in December. Oh, well, yeah, he didn't play. But I mean, he's got shut down 1 month or 1 game this month. Who knows, right? But right back on it.
And he only scored once today, so
only 1 point. But
I don't know. Dante keeps it. Well, he was talking about 50 and 39, doing the Gretzky or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bedard, he's at 45 in 38 now, so he'd have to score 5 against Moose Jaw.
Well, he's like scoring against Moose Jaw.
It's a possibility, but
even if he scores 50, like he's going to score 50 and 50 clearly. But
oh yeah, for
like
sure.
I don't. It's
especially they're going to be coming home.
Yeah.
And then they go to PA for a game, but then they come back home. Oh, I guess Winnipeg, and then Lethbridge, Medicine Hat. So, he's gonna have to do something, light the lamp at home soon.
Yeah. I mean, he's allowed to have an off night here.
Oh yeah,
goal
for
in his
sure.
last 2 games. Like this stretch, like everybody's talked about since World Juniors, has been unreal, right?
Oh yeah. Today he had 9 shots. He scored once, had 9 shots, and I think he needed to shoot more. If he would have in the second period, he had from the camera point, the vantage point, it looked like he had a wide open shot, and he decided to pass it. And of course, it was a turnover the other way, or whatever. Nothing happened. But if he would have shot it, I'm sure he would have beat the goalie. Like he looked like he had everything ready to go, and then he decided to pass it at the last second. I don't know. Maybe he's overthinking things, but oh well.
Yeah, just trying to not to say he's not unselfish, but maybe he needs to be more unselfish. Like even some of like we talked about before, other players giving up chances in the slot.
Yeah,
you can't give up. You got to be selfish and take that shot because you have a better chance of scoring from there than passing it off to the side, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you look at his shot total. He's shot 250 times shots on goal this season. He only in 38 games. Last year he had 326 and 62. So like he's gonna be 400 ish.
He's at 250 shots on goal. How many shots attempted does he have?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's true,
probably
right?
Twice that many. At least twice that many.
Right.
Not twice 2,000, but at least twice as many.
But yeah, like you said, he had 9 shots. He only had what was it in Lethbridge, like 3 shots on goal? Like
yeah, I don't think he had a shot in the first and then 2 in the third. That was it.
Yeah,
he was shut down totally in that game. Like had a couple opportunities, but they were on him, and good on Lethbridge defense and good on the forwards that were playing against him.
Yeah. No, that's that somebody found a way. They're like, that's probably just a win. They're just like, yeah, we shut him down. Like, I bet you they're pumped about that. Like, who wouldn't be, right?
Oh yeah.
So,
ending the streak.
Yeah. But yeah, it is what it is. What else do we got? News and notes. We went to the standings, talked about Suzdalev. I guess kind of the big news coming out Sunday, Gunther coming back to the WHL.
That's wild. That's something I didn't expect. I don't think
anybody did. Yeah.
I don't think anybody expected that. And all of a sudden, this tweet comes out. Gunther's on his way back. What?
Wow.
Wow.
That is. Whew. I mean, they're still waiting on Colton Dock from injury yet too. Like there's 2 guys. I watched a little bit of Seattle. God, what was it? Friday night, late, and Lambert looks good. Like he scored a beautiful overtime winner. Like I said, I can't remember what night it was, but so he, I thought, man, I haven't heard from him. Like, what's going on with him? And here he had played since Seattle left the Eastern Division. He played in 2 games, I think Saskatoon and PA it was, and then they went back to Seattle. Well, his work visa is a Canadian work visa since he's Finnish. he doesn't have an American work visa yet. So he sat out until I think he played on Tuesday. So he sat out for quite a while. And so, I was like, oh, that's why I haven't heard anything from him, because he hasn't been playing. And then, so yeah, he had, looks like he's catching on pretty well with Seattle. Chaz Lucius, we talked about him, player of the week 2 weeks ago for Portland. And he's jumped right in and just hasn't missed a beat. He seems he's really fit in well with them. Unfortunately, he's now missed the last couple games with injury, so that was tough on him. But these additions, are paying dividends for these teams. And then, yeah, like I said, Gunther and then Colton Dach coming back to Seattle, like they're beyond stacked. Like it's crazy.
If they get 100% healthy, they have a legit chance at actually bringing the cup back to the WHL.
The Memorial Cup, yes.
Cup.
The cup.
Not the WHL Championship. Not talking the cup.
No. Yeah. I mean,
they are loaded. They got good defense. They got like 5 first-round draft picks now.
I know.
And NHL draft picks. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. But yeah, the WHL playoffs are so tough. Like it's going to be tough, I think. Not that the other leagues aren't, but it just seems like the WHL is just that much tougher. Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, by the time the team get there, they're usually done. They battle so much to get there.
Yeah.
So they have nothing left for the final 4 or 5 games.
You look at what Regina went through, when they made the final against Seattle, right? Like Regina was just decimated with injuries.
Oh yeah.
Like guys were playing like the guys that were playing were just like with one arm and one leg, and like it's no wonder they lost in the final, right? Once you hear what went on after they were done, like it's just crazy. But yeah, so I guess looking ahead, Moose Jaw next weekend. That's it. Just one game on the slate. Like I said, some time to rest up. Moose Jaw's been doing decently lately. They are
7-2-0-1 in the last 10. They're doing really good, really good lately. So never count them out.
No, I think they're kind of hitting their stride a little bit in the second half here. They kind of, not that they didn't struggle. We thought maybe they'd be a little better than they were at the start, but it seems like they're coming on as of late, right? So
yeah, they don't really have the marquee goal scorer. Like the guys are scoring goals, but they don't really have like the big offensive guy. I don't know how to really say it. Jaeger's awesome. Like they got really good players, but their stats don't show it. That's what I'm trying to say. Their stats don't show it.
Yeah, like you see, you got Furcus with 25 goals, 60 points, and then you got Jaeger with 20 goals and 57 points, and then Atlee Calvert just scored his 30th, I think, today.
Yeah,
they're
slowly getting in there. They're creeping up, and they're getting there, and it just seems like it's all coming together for them.
Yeah,
gotta watch out. They don't take any penalties, and that helps a lot when you're not killing penalties half the game, or very much anyway. They only have 452 penalty minutes.
Yeah, that's the least in the league
by a whole bunch. Second fewest is 517.
They're like,
so that helps.
Definitely, right. And the Pats are at the high end at 651. They're not the worst, but they're up there.
The Pats penalty kill the last few games.
It's been really solid. Yes,
17-19 in the last 6 games.
But it has to be since the power play has struggled.
Yeah, the power play is
11.
Yeah, 0 for 11 the last 3 games. So I don't know what's going on there. Everything seems to have flipped. Power play was good. Penalty kill wasn't. Now it's penalty kills pretty good, like almost 90% or whatever. And the power play is kind of went away.
Yeah, I mean the penalty kill has been good, decent all year, but it's been really good lately, right? But the power play, like I said, has struggled. It's down to 26%. And what's the penalty kill at overall? 76. So not great. They're down at 14th on the penalty kill, but I mean, as of late, it's been good. So
yeah, the last 6 games.
Yeah, they need that. So yeah, I think that's about all I've got. You got anything else for this week? I mean,
well, gotta give credit to Aremba and Whitehead. for stepping up the last few games. We talked about Suzdalev. We kind of mentioned Aremba and
Yeah.
Whitehead a little bit, but I think Aremba played two of his best games.
Yes.
These two of these last 3 games, he's been all over the ice, flying around. Unfortunately, he had that breakaway. He just couldn't quite net it the other a couple games ago.
I think it was Calgary.
The Calgary game, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Whatever game it was.
I know, right?
He
4
got
games
stopped
this week.
It was so many games, so many highlights. But he's played. This is the best stretch he's played in a Pats uniform by a mile.
Yeah.
Pine played well in Red Deer.
Yeah.
Kind of gets thrown to the wolves against the top end guys. And
and the shaky, not the shaky start, but the giving up a goal in the first shot and then that fluky second goal, and you're just thinking, oh gosh, is this going to be like an 8 or 9er tonight? Like, but yeah,
and the was it the tying goal or the winning goal? A shot off, it hit the defenseman. I think Brown bounced down in front, and no one knew where it was. It kind of like their guy grabbed it. Like was it Uchaz that scored, but it was off the Pats defenseman right in front. No one knew where it was, and it was in the net.
I know Brown knocked down the overtime winner. It was on his stick.
Or was it the overtime? Maybe it was the overtime goal.
It was on his stick, and then it bounced off somehow, and then the guy had it and just quickly in the net. It was just like,
that's right. Yeah. I couldn't remember which goal it was or not, but it was
that was tough.
It was just unfortunate. Like 3 of those goals were just unfortunate bounces or bouncing it off the defenseman or whatever. But
yeah, he stepped in, and you're thinking, oh, they're setting Sim up for the other 3 games. I'm not surprised he played the other 3. So Pine's gonna not eat it, but like he's got a battle in Red Deer, and I mean, he held his own, right? Like
unfortunately, he did allow 6, but hey, it was a 6-5 game, so it wasn't
like it's a 6-0 game, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So like I said, the Pats were able to battle back in that game. It was nice to see. Yeah, and Aremba, like you said, he's definitely stepped up. This is kind of more what we were expecting. He definitely has had a slow start with the Pats, but not.
He's had some flashes of brilliance over a few games here and there, but this last little bit, he's been. I don't know if it's just been the increased responsibility, maybe the combination of the Whitehead, Suzdalev, Aremba line, maybe the chemistry between the 3.
Yeah,
but he's been really, really good the last few games here. So
yeah, it's good to see. Obviously, we haven't seen him play. We know his stats from minor hockey here in Regina were outstanding. So you think he's going to be an offensive player?
There's definitely something there, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he doesn't put up those numbers, in minor hockey, and doesn't have it, right? I mean, it doesn't always translate to the same level, obviously, but I mean, he's an offensive guy, so it's going to come. I mean, he's still only 17.
Yeah, for sure.
It's there. So it's good to see it's, starting to creep out of him or into his game or whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
right?
It's starting to come out.
Yeah, so that's good to see. But yeah, I think that's all you got. I don't think I have anything else.
Well, 3 teams have clinched playoff spots already.
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty. It seems pretty early, but I guess the way the West is.
The West is the West, right?
Seattle's clinched already.
Portland.
And then Portland clinched, and then Kamloops clinched. Yeah. So it just shows you how far the division or the conference is from top to bottom.
Yeah, The only 2 teams don't make it, right? And Spokane's well out. Victoria's hanging on. They've kind of dropped off lately. They had surged up. They were close to Kelowna. Now they're 4 points back. Kelowna, but Kelowna does have 5 games in hand on them, so that's going to be a tough haul for Victoria to get back in that playoff spot. But with four teams in the East, that don't make the playoffs, like we were talking, current, they're 1 point out. Brandon's 5 points out. Like there's two decent teams that are going to miss the playoffs in the East again.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
How about Edmonton beating Calgary?
That was interesting.
That was another huge favor for the Pats. I was like, no way Edmonton's going to take down Calgary, and they did. And it was like 5-1.
And didn't Edmonton outshoot Moose Jaw like a whole bunch? But they lost. But they outshot them like crazy.
Okay, I didn't see that one, but
And they all shot the 43-27 on Friday, and Moose Jaw won 4-1.
Oh, jeez. That's a tough one.
But yeah.
All right. Yeah. That was a busy week. It was a fun week, road trip, some big crowds. That's pretty crazy to see those big crowds. That's my kind of final thought. Like, just wow.
Big, loud crowds for the Pats.
For the Pats. Yeah, on the road. That's crazy.
Not so much today because there wasn't much to cheer about other than the first goal, but couldn't really tell what the crowd was like for that respect today. But yeah, it's crazy to see full buildings, like almost twice as many people today as in Medicine Hat as their highest attendance prior to today.
Yeah, I looked at their attendance. They only have one over 3,000.
It's not a good year for them.
No. I mean, yeah, the team hasn't done well. I mean, they're coming on strong now, but I mean, they haven't drawn well since they've moved into that new building.
No. Their highest attendance coming into today was 3,244, and today's attendance was 6,178, so almost doubled that.
Yeah. And I think if you look past that 3,000, the next is like 25.
26-29.
Yeah, there you go. And not many. There's been some under 2,000.
A whole bunch, yeah. I don't know what's going on there, but
yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of factors, right? It was 4,006 in the old building every night for decades.
For years and years and years.
And now it's just kind of hit the skids. But
1665 kind of that's not good.
That's low. But,
especially for a 6,000, 7,000 seat rink, that's tiny.
Yeah. All right, with that, we should wrap it up. Yeah, just the one game at home. Nice to be back in the rink. So we'll see you there on Friday night.
Saturday night.
I'll edit that out.
Saturday the 11th.
Have a good night, folks.
Have a good one.